Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! Given how 2025 was such an incredible year for every fan of Descendants of Zombies, I am so excited for 2026 because 2026 is going to be huge for every fan of Descendants of Zombies who has ever believed in the Descendants franchise. If you are somebody who has loved this franchise from its very beginning, its initial beginning, and its groundworks, then this is the YouTube channel for you, because I promise you that every single time that I ever take to my YouTube channel to upload a video about Descendants of Zombies, let me rephrase that, to our YouTube channel to upload a video about Descendants of Zombies, because this is something that we forever and always created together with such passion for every fan of Descendants of Zombies who has loved this franchise from its initial beginnings. Guys, I'm tired of hearing about the criticism directed towards your favorite Descendants of Zombies stars, past or present. It all began with Dove Cameron for me years ago when Dove Cameron was in this ridiculous relationship with Ryan McCartan. I took exception to that because I believe Dove Cameron deserved a good life, and I deserved that she deserved to be treated better. And I think that the same thing applies to Kylie Cantrell. I think that a lot of people have misinterpreted Kylie Cantrell's emotions and really taken exception to how Kylie Cantrell has felt. And from the very first time that I saw Kylie Cantrell with tears in her eyes on TikTok and YouTube videos expressing her emotions to her fans, because she wanted her fans more than anything to realize the person she was, how emotionally overcome she was about certain issues she was dealing with in her life that she couldn't make sense of. I wanted to do something about that. So I took to my YouTube channel and I let everybody know that Kylie Cantrell was a beautiful person. And I think that I'm justified in having said that because Kylie Cantrell actually is a really beautiful person. If you give her a chance and get to know her, I think that more people will fall in love with Kylie Cantrell. And that's something that I'm really excited to be about when it comes to the foreseeable future about the Descendants franchise, because we're going to get to know Kylie Cantrell more. And I really do believe that if you take a chance on Kylie Cantrell, only beautiful things will come of it. I think the Red character was seen as a character that was so fearless that never really cared what anybody thought about her because she was so rebellious against her mother and her mother's goals and dreams for her, and she went out to achieve something far greater than her mother ever thought that she was ever going to amount to. We all remember how annoying the original Queen of Hearts was from the original Alice in Wonderland classic. I always thought of her as an annoying villain with this really annoying high-pitched voice that really got on everybody's last nerve. But I think for every hero, there needs to be a villain. And for every villain, there needs to be a hero. And I think that Red is well on her way to becoming one of the most revered heroes of all time because of just how much of an inspiration people have drawn from her, taken from her. Not just because of her acting ability, but as her ability as a singer, too. It is really incredible to see how far Kylie Cantrell has come. I just watched her video for 99 a couple of nights ago, and I saw the scene on the basketball court, and she looked like she was having the time of her life. She had a smile on her face from the beginning of the music video right through to its conclusion. And I know what you're thinking. You know, Disney always wants their stars to look really happy, like they're flawless, like there's nothing wrong going on in their personal lives behind the camera. But there really is more going on behind the camera than ever given credit for, because they're under a lot of pressure, and Kylie Cantrell has seen that pressure, feeling as if she has to live up to certain criteria when it comes to management labels, executives at Disney. I've even seen Descendants interviews that she's done for PR, for Descendants 4: The Rise of Red, and promoting Descendants 5 Book Wonderland's upcoming release date, which has unofficially been announced by Disney over on D23.com, where she's been afraid to say something that she truly felt because Disney would be calling her at the conclusion of the interview. I believe that was for Zach Zhang when I saw that 1 hour long interview that she did for Zach Zhang. And she was so excited to go in depth about the Descendants franchise, but even with how much she wanted to tell us, she couldn't. I think that as a Disney executive, you really got to realize that they're still trying to figure out their place in the world. They're still trying to find acceptance in their own way, in their own form. And I think that more people, as time passes, have gradually accepted Kylie Cantrell for the person that she is, because she's always wanted to have fun. She's always wanted to entertain. She's always wanted to sing and dance. And growing up in a dance home obviously had their advantages for Kylie Cantrell, because she had the support of her mom, who was a professional dancer, her dad, who was a professional producer, and he's been very vocal about Descendants 6 currently being in development over there at Disney. There is no official word whether or not Descendants 6 is currently in development, but you would expect Descendants 6 to be in development. development because of a story for Pink having to be told. And this could be setting up for a moment where we could see an unofficial passing of the torch moment between Red and Pink, because of course Liamani Segura has become accepted by Descendants of Zombies fans. They've always known her from High School Musical, the musical, the series, and her uncanny ability to sing songs. And you can really give anything to Liamani Segura and she can really bring it to life. So because she can really bring anything to life, I think that gives us even more of a reason to be excited about the chemistry we're going to be seeing between herself and Kylie. Reportedly there was a remix of Life is Sweeter When You Are, but I really don't know how I feel about Kylie Cantrell and Liamani Segura lending their voices to a song that was originally written for and by Ruby Rose Turner, because that gave the character Bridget so much meaning. I think from the very first moment that we heard the song Life is Sweeter When You Are, Ruby Rose Turner's purpose as the character Bridget became fulfilled. She wanted to really put into a greater emphasis how much of a profound impact bullying can really have on a person, and the reality of life is we see this every day with somebody that we may encounter in our everyday lives, at school, that we attend school with, that we ride home into school with on the bus every day, that we walk home with. You know, it happens to more people than ever given credit for. So I really appreciate how Descendants of Zombies has really brought this to the forefront and given so much of the spotlight to critical issues that people really go through in their everyday lives. Perhaps there is somebody watching this video at this very moment who is going through this and experiencing it. But I want you to know that it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It just means that people have taken exception to who you are, but it doesn't mean that you're not a wonderful person. Because you see, I don't have to know you to know whether or not you're a great person. I think that everybody who has ever subscribed to this YouTube channel, who has ever taken a chance on any video that I've ever uploaded, is a wonderful person in their own right. And they have the right to an opinion to express about Descendants of Zombies. If you guys want to see Descendants 5 Wonderland happen sooner than what Disney is speculating it will, sometime between now and summer 2026, then you have the right to your opinion. And I think that no Descendants of Zombies fan should ever feel afraid to let the world know how they truly feel about a star who they may have drawn inspiration from, no matter if it's Chloe Charming, no matter if it's Red, Kylie Cantrell, Malia Baker, or even Ruby Rose Turner. Because I've been very honest with each and every one of you. I have loved Ruby Rose Turner from her initial beginnings, and I have never ever seemed to say enough nice things about Ruby Rose Turner. Even with how many nice things I've said about Ruby Rose Turner and have expressed how I've really felt about Ruby Rose Turner, I can never seem to say enough nice things about her in a single conversation. Because whenever the conversation comes up and arises about who's going to play Rapunzel in Disney's live-action Tangled, I immediately jump to Ruby Rose Turner. I know McKenna Grace has reportedly been officially casted as Rapunzel, but I will forever promote Ruby Rose Turner being in that position, because I think that because of Ruby's appreciation for life, how Ruby's been so appreciative of everything that she's ever been a part of in every single moment of her life and career, I think Ruby is someone who deserves to be celebrated and put on a higher pedestal than she's ever had the chance of standing on. Because when you talk about people like Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson, I think we've talked about them a little bit too much. I think that the stars of this new generation and this new franchise, introducing it to a whole new generation of Disney fans, are stars who deserve the spotlight now. Because while so many stars of Descendants have chosen to walk away and leave us in that proverbial dark, because we're never afraid of the dark, we're just afraid of what we can't see, so we never know if Dove Cameron or Sophia Carson are going to return to reprise their role. I know there's a lot of mixed emotions about how Cameron Boyce passed away. They believe they had told the story and completed it, but the reality of life is that we're faced with, as Descendants of Zombies fans, is nobody's story is ever over and told and completed. It's just what they want you to believe because Disney doesn't want to re-sign them. But that doesn't mean that they can't return to reprise their role. But while we're still skeptical on whether or not these stars will return from the past to reprise their role for a crossover opportunity between stars of Descendants past and present, or a crossover opportunity between Descendants and Zombies off the success of the Worlds Collide tour, which is reportedly in the works over at Disney with a crossover opportunity coming for Descendants and Zombies, I think we should appreciate these stars of this moment and what we are a part of, because more people love Descendants than ever before. You know, years ago, it was very rare to find a Descendants fan who felt as passionate as what you did about Descendants. When I watched Descendants for the first time on July 31st of 2015, where was I? I was home. I was watching Descendants. I had watched some of the initial promos. I wanted to take a chance on Descendants more than ever before because I believed in the story of these characters. I believed in people like Maleficent, Jafar, and Ursula, and even Cruella de Vil having sons and daughters that would go on to define their legacies, trying to find their place in the world, struggling to find acceptance, which sometimes more often than enough is really hard to find in an unforgiving world, because this world is very unforgiving. But it's because of the friendships, even if we have just 2 or 3 really good friends that we can hold on to and maintain, that helps us make sense of everything going on around us and helps us see it through. And I've been very grateful for all the friendships that I've been able to come across to and come into my life because of Descendants of Zombies, because Descendants of Zombies was really an opportunity for me, an opportunity to really reintroduce myself to a whole new audience that I had never broadcasted for before, because I had been on YouTube and I had been on internet radio for what felt like forever, and I was pretty much the producer of a show, which means I would do a lot of behind the scenes work, which means you would never really see me until a co-host had to be filled in for, and I would have to conduct an interview. So pretty much I would pre-write all the questions for every interview that was upcoming on either the radio or YouTube, and you guys would never see me. It's only in recent years that I've really revealed myself to the world, and you guys have become familiarized with me as a familiar voice talking about Descendants of Zombies. And I have felt more than honored to have the chance to record hundreds of videos that have gone on to inspire countless numbers of Descendants of Zombies fans who have been with these franchises from the very beginning. I'll be honest with each and every one of you. I also loved a show called Liv and Maddie years ago, and I watched every single episode of Liv and Maddie. If Liv and Maddie had up to 75 episodes, I virtually watched every single one of them. Special editions of Liv and Maddie, 1-hour specials, crossover opportunities, everything Dove Cameron had happening for her. I did it because I believed in Dove Cameron so much. Little did I know that I would go on to become one of the most famous voices ever associated with shows like Liv and Maddie, Descendants of Zombies, having everything to do with Dove Cameron's overwhelming popularity. And I think it had everything to do with how you guys could relate to stars like Kylie Cantrell, because how many of you have felt a part of Kylie Cantrell's life from the very beginning? It has everything to do with how she's made you feel as if you're a part of something special, and you've been a part of her life from the very beginning, because she really does tell you everything about her relationship, what's going on behind the camera, even probably when she shouldn't be telling you, because Disney wants to keep it kayfabed, which is a term we use in the entertainment industry for keeping secrets. But I think when a set prop is leaked or a storyline may be leaked online, that only creates conversation. And if I was an executive at Disney, this is exactly what I want to see happen for the Descendants franchise, because it gets people talking and it keeps them talking leading up to the release windows of Descendants of Zombies, because there have been so many predictions made early on for the Zombies franchise. I talked about this earlier this morning on my first show. I think that with the predictions that are being made, there are people out there who have questions about the Descendants of Zombies franchise, who have forever and always wanted to have these questions answered. And as long as Disney keeps us in the dark, it's going to keep us asking questions and going to keep us guessing. And I think that when we finally get the answers to our questions, we're going to feel more confident about the future. And this is why people have been left in doubt of the futures of Descendants of Zombies. But to be honest with each and every one of you, I've never wanted to let go. I am never going to let go. And I still remember being a huge fan of the original trilogy. And I'm still just as big of a fan of this new take on Descendants, which is often being compared to Harry Potter and Wicked-type musicals. But I think Descendants of Zombies has forever and always remained in a class of its own. It's really cool to be a fan of Descendants of Zombies, however you feel passionate about Descendants of Zombies, because some of you feel very passionate about the merch, some of you feel very passionate about the music, and I get that from the top trends on YouTube, Descendants 2 music videos, or reaction videos for Descendants The Rise of Red. You guys are very passionate about Descendants of Zombies, so you've only deserved and wanted the best reviews when it comes to Descendants of Zombies. It's just YouTube creators never seem to take that into consideration every single time they sit in front of their microphone or they ever record a video with their passions about Descendants of Zombies. Because I think that the initial reaction videos that have been uploaded when it comes to Descendants of Zombies are by people who are watching Descendants of Zombies with you for the very first time. So as a result of that, they can't commentate on it, or they can't create conversation about Descendants of Zombies. I think it's very important to establish an understanding with your audience and a relationship with your audience so you can keep giving them the content they want. It's never necessarily about how you feel about Descendants of Zombies. It's about how they feel about Descendants of Zombies and characters and moments that truly have defined them for being fans of this franchise. And we have seen so much happen in these franchises in such little time. So you think about 10 years from now, will the Descendants of Zombies franchises still be being produced? Sure they will, either for TV shows or movies, crossover opportunities. There are endless amounts of storylines to create. So many predictions that have been made, but so many predictions that have yet to come from Descendants of Zombies fans. And so many people who don't even know what Descendants of Zombies is, who still have to fall in love with Descendants of Zombies, and that's what makes it so exciting for me and so honorable for me to be the host of this show. I can't even believe that I'm the host of a Descendants of Zombies podcast that is currently right now the most popular Descendants of Zombies podcast in the world, with thousands of subscribers and over 100,000 views. That's our next milestone for this YouTube channel, and I can't even believe it that I just said that. Over 100,000 views have happened for this YouTube channel because of how much you guys have believed in this YouTube channel from its initial beginnings. And I have each and every one of you to thank for how much you have loved Kylie Control from the very beginning, and what feels like forever for most of you, for her music, Goodie Bag Denim, See You Tonight, and of course 99, which has very quickly became one of my favorite songs from Kylie Control. And I have to take a moment to put over Freya Sky, because her song I Thought I Knew is a beautiful song. I know it's an older song from Freya Sky, but I saw it off FreyaSky.com just last night when I was checking out her Stars Align tour and how she had sold out of venues all across America. It's really beautiful, and I think that when you can put powerful lyrics such as Freya Sky's lyrics to songs, it really shows just how dedicated she is to her career and just how she's writing those beautiful lyrics at just 16 years old. That's unbelievable. So I think that if we're going to do anything for Freya Sky, we have to come out and support, and we always have to support her because she still has a long way to go. She's really figuring out her place in the world like I was doing at 15 years old. I didn't even know if I was trying to figure out my place in the world. I was 2 years into my radio career. I hadn't premiered on YouTube. I didn't premiere on YouTube till 2009, and I didn't even know where I was headed in life. But I did know, all I ever knew was that I wanted to be something special, and some way or somehow I wanted to touch the hearts of somebody. So by 2009, when my initial YouTube videos came out, I eventually began to get subscribers, and then 500 subscribers became 1,000 subscribers for me, 1,500 subscribers became 2,000 for me, and it's brought us to this moment. And I have forever and always been left appreciative of everybody, and I've appreciated every follower who's ever taken a chance on this YouTube channel. Do I think that we will see something special in Descendants 5 Book of Wonderland that could potentially set us up for Descendants 6? Sure I do. Do I think we'll get to Descendants 6, Descendants 7, Descendants 8, and so on? Sure I do. And I believed in Descendants more than I ever had before, and I've really had the time of my life having the honor to meet so many wonderful fans of Descendants of Zombies, not just to talk about Descendants of Zombies over the holidays or throughout the calendar year, to meet so many wonderful people who have continuously drawn inspiration from these franchises because of their beautiful stories, regardless if it's Descendants or Zombies for you guys, because many of you are Zombies fans and prefer Zombies over Descendants. Some of you prefer Descendants over Zombies. I get that. But with a rating of 6.2 for Zombies and 6.4 for Descendants, with Descendants slightly ahead, it isn't much of a percentage separating the two franchises, and forever there will be an argument presented of what franchise is the most popular. I think it's a soul franchise, which means it perfectly fits together, and there is an opportunity for crossover opportunities. There's a chance for Leg 2 of the Worlds Collide Tour in late 2026 forecasted to happen, and these are opportunities that I'm excited to be a part of, just as I was for the initial tour in 2025. We still have a long way to go, and we still have so much to be excited about, and there is no room for any criticism in any conversation having to do with your favorite stars. I will be honest with each and every one of you. Kylie Control is somebody who you can very quickly fall in love with and take a chance on. And if you've never listened to any of Kylie Control's music, you're going to want to head over to KylieControl.com right now, download her EP, probably even purchase it perhaps, and take a chance on her, because I promise you, you will not regret it. And that's why this YouTube channel first premiered on August 5th, 2024, because I wanted to do something about it. I wanted to let everybody know how I felt about Descendants of Zombies and just how passionate I felt about all these moments I had to share with your favorite stars and with you as a fan, because I love to speak from the perspective of a fan. I love putting it out there for what it's worth, because with me, what you see is what you get. And I think that's the most effective way of recording a video with your thoughts in it about Descendants of Zombies, because then your opinion will go further, and you know for sure and most certainly you're going to touch the heart of somebody who's a fan of Descendants of Zombies watching your video, who will take a chance on you and maybe, just maybe, hit your subscribe button, because I would love for you to come along on this journey with me, discovering the power and the potential behind Descendants of Zombies and all of its stars, its entire cast, because there are so many people we have met because the Descendants of Zombies is part of the cast. But in terms of a new cast, there are so many people we still have to meet, like Leilani Segura, to find out what kind of job she's going to do presenting the character Pink for the first time ever as one of the many consequences of time travel, which is something I'm really excited about because this storyline can go further than any storyline has ever gone before. I know that sounds very reminiscent of Buzz Lightyear, but I'm such a huge fan of Leilani Segura. I think I can take a chance on her and get away with it, and I think we have more to be excited about for the future of Descendants of Zombies than perhaps ever before. So I think that now is the time for us all to love Descendants more than ever before. And I think that people who are first introducing themselves to the Descendants franchise because of the rise of Red and what people like Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker have been offering to this franchise, go ahead, fall in love with this franchise all over again if you got to, because this franchise is something that truly does have the potential of lasting for forever, because this story is far from over and we still have a long way to go. Thank you guys so much for every bit of love you've shown this YouTube channel from its very beginning and the very first video that was ever uploaded here. I honestly don't know where I'd be out there in the world today without each and every one of you and your continuous love and support. Thank you so much from my heart to yours. I'm off to see Avatar, Fire, and Ash, a 3-hour-long movie tonight. I don't even know how I'm going to make it through it, but I will be back just after sunset tonight with one final video to upload for you guys as we pick up this conversation right where we left off about Descendants of Zombies, because this story is far from over, because it doesn't have to be. Thank you guys so much for having watched this video.